Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Alicia Dreaming. Um, Today I'm coming at you with somewhat of a emergency video. Um, I didn't know whether to put this on Fans of Color or my own channel, but I'm going to go ahead and put it on my own channel because um, I didn't run it past anybody, um, I didn't run it past my co-mod on Fans of Color. So I'm just putting it on my own channel. But I want to talk about the hate that Celia Rose Gooding is getting on the Strange New Worlds tags under Star Trek on Tumblr. So um there's this fan that I follow that brought attention to me this post, and I will put it up in I'll put it in the sorry, my screen's super dirty. I will put it in the on the video, hopefully like right there. So like we're okay. So like right there. And it's got a picture of Celia Rose Gooding as Nyota Uhura. The fact that some Uhura fans um this was submitted by Mayre Vokoya, and it's a picture. Okay, so Pride 7, it's a screenshot from Pride 7. The fact that some of her fans and even some black women are screaming Celia Gooding looks good as Uhura on the show is the best denial ever. The fact that they will dress and make up Uhura like this opposite the likes of Nurse Chapel into praying who they made to look soft and with more sex appeal should be offensive to her fans and black women. So I have to ask about Strange New Worlds. Where is one Uhura's sex appeal? Why is she wearing a uniform that makes her look bulky? Why does she have a buzz boy cut that does not suit the actress' facial features? Why does she have a few extra pounds that does not flatter her body on camera, unlike other actresses like Beyonce or Kate Winslet, who look good with meat on? She is meant to be a young Nichols from the original series. Where is the tiny resemblance? Where is the femininity that Nichols Uhura fought for? Where is the great beauty that is synonymous with Uhura that even stopped men from being racist in the 60s because Nichols was so graceful? The fact that Strange New World creators will downgrade an iconic black female character like this is offensive, but it is more offensive. Some black women are in denial over this and continue to defend the way they have presented Uhura so poorly in Strange New Worlds. There's another screen cap of another post posted on September 27th, again by Pride 7. The truth about Spock and Uhura shipping in Strange New Worlds. If people really want to know about how much they screwed up Uhura in Strange New Worlds, Lon and Spock have more shippers than Uhura and Spock in Strange New Worlds. The Uhura and Spock Uhura fans need to ask the honest question of why Spock and Uhura, though a popular ship in Trek lore thanks to the AOS version, has not translated at all in Strange New Worlds. This is what happens when you have an actress who is very miscast in the role, and her and the creators care more about pushing extreme political agenda to the point that they destroy iconic characters. I get the preference to ship Spock with Chapel or Lon in Strange New Worlds over Uhura. Most fanfic writers find it hard to ship Spock with female characters that has zero sex appeal, uglified, and is very masculine looking, which is how they have made Uhura look in Strange New Worlds. The next post is by Uhura Hermione. Malcolm X once said that the most disrespected woman in America is the black woman looking at you, Strange New Worlds. I decided to dig into Strange New Worlds finally to see what all the fuss was about. The show is no doubt an improvement to Discovery and Picard in some areas. However, I'm a bit shocked by the subtle racism of the show. Is it subtle, or did they not think many POC fans would figure it out or not notice it? There's a character going by the name of Uhura Nyota, but looks nothing and feels nothing like the character. While I have tried to stay above the femininity and Celia Gooding controversy that has been a talking point on Tumblr, this show has made some odd choices about her that make no sense and not necessary. I will not dig deeper, but I will say that her has been disrespected in Stranger Worlds more than any other character I can think of in fiction, and it leads to the message that Malcolm X once told black people, that black women are the most disrespected people in the USA, and this has been proven over and over again. Next example is Stranger Worlds. Every progress in glass ceiling, Michelle Nichols Zoe Saldana brought to this iconic role has been set back 100 years when you watch Strange New Worlds. I am personally offended by the direction they have gone with her on the show. I have no plan on watching the show till the end. This is another screen post of a post by Pride 7. Now, this one I think is really telling because the picture that they used of Celia Gooding is side by side with a shot of Uhura in the Mirrorverse from the original series. And in the Mirrorverse, she's got a crop top on. She's got a mini skirt with gold. Her tummy is showing. She's very flirty. She's obviously supposed to be very sexualized. Okay, so just keep that in mind because I will show you the screen caps when it comes on the video. It saddens and angers me that this is how they have presented rehearsed to us. The hair, the clothing, and makeup people behind Star Trek have been offensive with their agenda to make her a very iconic, feminine, and sexual appealing female to look at like a manly dude. This is not Uhura. Sorry, but this is not Uhura. Celia Gooding can also take her BS shallow queer narrative out of the gate. Gene Roddenberry will be spinning in his grave if someone told him that this is what Uhura looked like when she was younger. I also fail to see how any big fan of Uhura can tell me honestly they like how Uhura looks on the Strange New Worlds. They keep lashing out at real Uhura fans like myself and S. Gene 08 for saying the harsh truth that Uhura on the show is terrible looking. Celia Gooding Uhura has been made to look ugly and unattractive, and this is the reason no one cares about Uhura in Strange New Worlds or even dare to think of Strange New World Spock as a love interest. Celia Gooding and Strange New writers all should be ashamed of themselves for destroying what was once a very iconic black, feminine, and gorgeous female character like Uhura that many men, regardless of skin color, had crushes on and turned her into a butch, stocky, masculine-looking female with none of the grace, beauty, and elegance of Nichelle Nichols. Okay, that's the end of the screen caps. Mayray Vokoya says, "What do we even do about these? About this? These posts are from Tumblr users Pride 7 and Uhura Hermione. Multiple people have tried to say, or at least to Pride 7, that this kind of commentary is hurtful and bigoted. They're just not listening." And I said, "Holy crap! I might have to make a video of this crap on YouTube. Thanks for the screenshots." Okay, so now that I've read everything, I have a few points to make. First of all, the femininity that they're suggesting that Uhura displayed in the 60s was very Eurocentric. She had straight hair. She never wore her curls. She, I'm pretty sure she never wore her curls. It was straightened, or like, I don't know if it was I'm not familiar with what they use in the 60s for black women's hair, and even to this day, I know I can straighten my hair, but I know that there's a chemical process to doing it, and I'm not sure what like to call it, but she had straight hair. It was not natural. It was unnatural, and it was to conform to a white Eurocentric beauty standard. So, and then the whole jab at Celia Rose Gooding's queer narrative thing. I found out that Celia Rose Gooding goes by she, they pronouns. So I will be referring to Celia as they and Uhura as she. And I think it's very important that we talk about non-binary representation, which I believe is more what they're heading for with Uhura. I think, like with Uhura, they still put Celia Rose Gooding still gets makeup, like lipstick, and they've got gorgeous skin. You know what? I'm just gonna use she for everybody. I'm so sorry. I'm tired. I'm trying to deal with this nonsense. They still. There's another post, and I'm not gonna link it right now. I'm not going to talk about it just yet. That Pride 7 submitted and said that um, Celia Rose Gooding looks like Kirk from the reboot series. And it's so weird to me because just because like a uniform is a uniform and it's supposed to be like a solid color and it's supposed to be somewhat geometrical, does that mean that that Celia Rose Gooding's body, which still very much presents as female, is mannish looking? Or and even if it was, I think a queer narrative showing up in Star Trek is very important because like in Discovery they have queer characters. They have the gay couple and I think there's a non-binary or a trans mass character on the show, and I can't remember their names right now because I haven't gotten that far in the show. Mostly because I saw how many hits I was getting with Star Wars, and I kept watching. So I kept going with Star Wars and making videos on that. But I like Star Trek has been for the longest time in my life one of the constants where yes, they made missteps and there's horrible missteps that when they make missteps, but they always had their hearts in the right place of trying to combat sexism, racism, and they have committed faux pas. I'm the first to admit that, but like I don't like criticizing Star Trek because I find that Star Trek is one of those comfort shows where they're doing their best. It doesn't make sense to me to criticize it because in a lot of ways they are very forward thinking, in other ways that other media is not. So it's the whole extra pounds thing really gets to me because I'm fat. You can see, like, I'm fat. I'm a fat girl. But, like, also, too, I don't consider, like, I'm wearing a dress right now, but I don't consider dresses to be gendered. And I think a lot of that came from Andre Leon Talley, who, he, in his later life, when he gained a lot of weight, he was wearing very, these sheath kinds of clothes. Like I don't remember if they're I can't remember what they were called, but I read his biography and he was playing with he was very fashionable obviously, but like the whole idea about gendered clothing is something that I think we need to get away from. It restricts us too much, and like this whole idea that in order to be appealing to men, a woman has to be straight haired, which, yes, I know I straightened my hair because I got it done and it was like my curls are not as pretty as other people's. They're not really even curls, they're more wavy hair. But like when I get my hair done, when it's dyed, it doesn't make sense to like put product in it because it has to can't be washed for a few days. So like you just have to straighten it and do your best to touch it up and wear it in a ponytail. So like that's why I kept it straight. But it's not that I don't like curly hair. I love it when my hair is curly. I just it's very personal to me that we can't consider Uhura a few extra pounds on her. Like you have to be extra voluptuous. You have to be a perfect hourglass figure like Beyonce to be considered beautiful with extra pounds on. And like that's really misogynistic. Like to argue that a woman has to look a certain way to be considered feminine, I think is a very misogynistic thing to do because you're expecting, first of all, you're expecting hyper femininity from a black, dark skinned woman Celia Rose Gooding is dark skinned. Let's clear that up. She's, I would say, a little bit darker than Nichelle Nichols. But they both have the same background in Broadway, singing and dancing. I would like to see Celia Rose doing some singing and dancing because I feel like that would connect her more to Uhura. But I feel like this whole thing about it's just the whole aspect of bringing up Malcolm X when saying that they're the most disrespected person in America was a black woman, they're completely contorting his meaning. Like, completely. Like, he was saying that no one else in America has had their rights stripped away like black women. And I think that's very true. Black women, like take for example the Olympics. Okay, black women are penalized for, or dark skinned women are penalized for having higher natural testosterone levels than white women. If they're too muscular, they must be taking some supplements or something, and they're locked out of competing because they're too masculine. Which is also a transphobic stance to take, because then you're also going into the stance that trans women aren't natural and shouldn't be able to compete with AFAB women, with cis women. And it makes me very sad to see these discussions where people are saying that you can't look at Celia Rose Gooding and think that's a beautiful woman. Yes, the actor Celia Rose Gooding might be non-binary. Yes, they might want to represent that more anyways. But what gets to me is the whole idea that in order to deserve a white man's love and affection like Spock, she has to be hyper feminine, showing off lots of skin, having her hair done. Like, she can't be wearing her natural hair. And that's I don't know if you've noticed on this channel, but I very rarely put on a full face of makeup, like I did on the last video that I did for my NaNoWriMo 5. I had a full face of makeup. I was playing with my makeup. I do like to play with makeup, but I don't want that to be my everyday reality, because sometimes I just don't feel like it. I have a migraine. I don't want to put all that makeup on. Like, it's to me, it's like putting on a fun dress or a fun outfit. I'll do it for a day, and then I want to go back to my comfy clothes. And it's like, right now I don't have any makeup on, and you can see my scars. You can see, I have you can see my tired eyes. I've got bags under my eyes and stuff. But I think women should be allowed to exist without needing to put on makeup and jewelry and just the way that men are allowed to exist without having to put on makeup and jewelry. They're allowed to just be and go places with their natural faces. I think women should be allowed the same courtesy and still be considered feminine. But also, too, when you expect a black woman to not wear her natural hair, obviously, that is a very misogynoir take on the whole situation. Granted, I'm not black. I don't want to speak over black women. I do, however, feel like these people on the Strange New Worlds tag in Pride 7, Uhura, Hermione, there's another one that it's very disingenuous. They're saying, like, that you have to, in order to be, desired by men, you have to look a certain way. And it's like, that's very depressing to me, because why do we have to dress up so much to be desired by men, or be taken seriously by men? Like, her xenolinguistic skills were supposed to be off the chart amazing. You know, she was a brilliant mind. She was very skilled at what she did. Why does she have to be hyper feminine on top of that, instead of just good at her job? You know? Why? Why do we expect that from women, and especially a black woman? Why can't she just be, why can't Spock just fall in love with her for her femininity, even though she is wearing her natural hair, even though she does have dark skin, even though she's not showing her bare midriff, which, mind you, Uhura in the original series and in the reboot doesn't show her midriff on the daily. It's just in that one Mirrorverse episode that they keep juxtaposing Celia Rose to, where she's showing off her midriff. And yes, it's a pretty midriff, and she's a gorgeous woman. Nichelle Nichols was a very gorgeous woman, but I don't think that we need to continue that sexualization, or that hype, over sexualization of women, to continue respecting them. I don't think that's the right way to go. And I've already talked for 21 minutes, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up with the other ask that is in the ask box. Okay. So this is the picture from Pride 7. Okay, so Jim Kirk and Celia Rose Gooding. And, like, honestly, how is she looking mannish? She's got a sizable chest. He doesn't have a sizable chest. He's got pecs, but that's not he doesn't got boobs. But just because they're standing at attention, I mean, they're military people. Okay, so Pride 7, I'm not going to go through what they say. I'm just going to post this video under this, and this is disgusting to me, that you think that a natural beauty like Celia Rose Gooding can't be wearing her natural hair and still be considered beautiful. It's just offensive to me. And I'm so tired. Fandom makes me so tired. Okay, bye.